At the come of freeze and the settling of twind, Speaker Scylla sowed a single seed pod, and bid the tree grow into a mighty pillar in just a night. That nascent growth, now the skeletal frame for the tent's hide canvas, treated with herbs and balms, that glistened purple where algae mended tears like clots pushed by a beating heart. Within, incense burned so thick it tasted upon the tongue. The floor had been dug down, giving depth to a shallow ceiling. Scarcely furnished besides a variety of animal fetishes, the temple had been prepped for the types of ceremonies and intimate feral dances that had been deferred by the speaker's own divining. Had not the day gone so wrong? Reyth wondered. Scylla sat upon a scarlet pillow amid an outstretched rug beside a deep fire pit. 2 ropey braids of Scylla's ghostly silver hair fell over a young willowy body. A cloth strip, woven with silver string, covered eyes that had been long ago gouged by dark ones from beyond the breath. Ears, as long as Reyth's forearm, came to as sharp point as the blackest obsidian that hung from 9 earrings, and like tar drops hung from her blindfold. "Speaka, it is Rey," Arik said as they kneeled. A smile broke the hard lines of Scylla's ageless face. From joyful lips glinted vicious fangs. Among the carvings of ruins elsewhere, Reyth had seen the Old One's lurid hunts wherein lush and limber beings feasted on hogs, hens, and hapless heroes with red hair. The windfish, in his 80th year, had deferred to her wisdom when he was no older than Evren, yet Scylla's youth and beauty were like Sangar herself. Jor had said she was older than the trees. She reached up, over smoldering petals, to take Reyth's hand. "Your grip is so firm. I tell you always, relax, breathe, let the worry flow, and do let go my old bones, and spare my humility, lest you bend both. You're hurt and more than just in heart." Scylla sniffed the air, then doled burning petals with bare palms from between them and into a bowl of river water. It sizzled, steamed, and swirled. Reyth caught Arik watching her, and stopped herself from gawking in childish wonder. Cupping the bowl to her mouth, Scylla blew gently upon the ashen liquid, grown thick like honey. Roots slithered up from the muddy moisture, up between the gaps of latticed aspen and skin carpets, and curled around the tips of Scylla's bare toes. Bulbous black-headed fungi sprung from the surface of the syrup. Scylla motioned Reyth come close, stirring medicinal vapors in the air. Reyth caught the briefest flash of a bubble as something squirmed within. Transfixed, her sight went dark as Scylla flicked the dark material into her eyes and open mouth. Tasting soil, she sat back, while the healing balm relieved her of the lingering pain beside her swelling eye. "More'n mere fish and tricks, nah?" Arik punched Reyth's shoulder and sought her hatchet's reflection, brushing away muck, to watch as an open wound filled with silvered scar that had soon again become bright freckled cheek, her black eye clear as Uyu upon this cursed day. "Speaka Scylla, I am honored to be here." "I could never not make time for you," Scylla answered. "I feel I have so much of it as to not share. Tell me of Evren." He, she stuttered, then to Arik looked with sourness. "Have you been speaking when I told you not?" Arik's nonchalance told her all she needed to know. A rabble-rouse and a gossip, but to his cause good Scylla came. "Your uncle speaks often and loudly, but let me ask, why would my ears be so large, if not to hear what is being said? He is not the only one who whispers of Evren," Scylla said. "And what is it they say?" Reyth asked, then decided against it. Why waste such precious time with worry of what they thought of her family? At Arik's word they might have done worse than simply throw stones at her. "Forget that. Arik said you could help? Please?" "The cough," Scylla said, clicking her tongue upon the dreadful name. "Yes, the moss is in his blood. It pushes out his teeth and spines his gums. Pap doesn't know. I don't know what to do." She waited for her uncle to say his piece, but he said nothing. "Arik said you could cure him." Though blind, Scylla tuned herself towards her uncle, the gesture of one who'd once known sight and had never unlearned the tick. The obsidian beads clicked in her quiet regard of the man. Seems Arik does speak too often and loud. Now it was her turn to regard her uncle in silence. the way he looked to Speaker Scylla, and the way she looked at him with hunger. The pinprick stars upon his neck were from no porcupine. He promised, talked of old remedies, but maybe this is not such a good idea. Before the words could fully leave her mouth and curb the swirl of hope and guilt in her stomach's pit that came with seeking this counsel behind her father's back. Arik had seized her wrist. He looked just as determined as when above his mob before Nor. Was she here for Evren, or for Arik? Damn her uncle. Smoke welled past Scylla's eyeless mask, her cheeks sagging further with a frown. Embers crackled and wood groaned against the cold. The speaker's sharp nails pressed into Arik's arm, and embarrassed, her uncle relented and let her be. "Do not mind his seriousness," Scylla said. "We are all afraid right now." Then she found herself face to face with one of Scylla's best smiles, the kind with no teeth. "But our mother would never leave us hopeless." "But she is choking," Reyth said, looking at the black polyps now scattered across the floor. "If you can help him, why have ye not offered already? Ye healed my wounds like ye stitching fur. Sangar's breath is held, but it will return. I know no cure, but the shepherds do. I cannot seek them, but you can. Ye saying I should seek the shepherds? They scurry from steps, and even then—" Reyth had only ever once glimpsed a shepherd. Its black, stocky body had evaporated into the breath when she dawned too close whilst diving in Tyrannus. The buzzing it had made left her to slobbering for 2 days and nights, until Evren borrowed a pig to sniff up some cackle root. There are shepherds unlike others, with understanding wider than mine. I know of one that'll take the feeble and unwell, one of the kind with who your mother went. I dunno believe you," Reyth said when Scylla's cool hand found her neck. The memory of the shepherd phantasm's batting wings buzzing in her skull. "Believe and be rewarded," Scylla said, "but into your path will come harbingers of doubt. Sangar will let you pass. The way is simple, for the shroud has fallen, but a test of heart may stay your feet. The red will shine brightest in the thinnest breath. Tyrannus, our frozen mother, will guide you to where the mountains sing. There the wood grows old and the weak-willed cry. Fear no eyes of shepherds reap. To save your brother your courage you'll keep." Reyth looked to her weapons, her bow and her axe. "It will be dangerous?" "It may," Scylla answered. "These are dangerous times. If the shepherd can help," Reyth wondered, "why is there suffering and pain?" "Because, Reyth," Scylla said, voice comforting, but to Reyth's eyes she beckoned twice. "When a shepherd calls, it demands sacrifice.